Hello, Libras, and welcome. Libras, Sun, Moon, Rising, or wherever else you find it in your chart, and to all those cross watchers who are here watching maybe for a Libra in your life. Welcome. Welcome to today's reading. This is a reading for September. So I did the fire signs together, and I was like, you know what? I can't sit for an hour in 15 minutes, so I think I'm just going back to just individual zodiac sign readings. So we're going to keep this fairly nice, quick, and short. This is for September 1st to the 15th. Couple housekeeping things. I am outside. It is a beautiful day, but I do apologize if we are interrupted. I have a very busy family. A couple other things. I have recently posted a series of videos called Embrace Your Awakening. It's a 3-part series, and it really goes into looking at the shadow aspects, of kind of embracing our authenticity and how we struggle to do so. It also looks directly into the chakras of our bodies and the energy portals within ourselves and the blocked energy that is in it. So I do highly recommend you go and check that out. That playlist will be linked at the end of this video here. All right, let us actually just give me 1 second here, guys. Hey girls, Faith's running over to Denise's. Could you go and grab her for me, please? My video started. Thank you. Oh no, she's not. Sorry guys, I just seen my horse and thought that she was heading over to my neighbor's, but she's not. She's coming around to come the backside here. All right, let's get into this. So we are going to start with the Energy Oracle deck here, and we are going to pull, we're going to pull some energies here. Look at this. Wow, okay, Libras. That's the current state. The shadow here. What's the shadow energy spirit? The energy of the light. Okay, energy of the divine feminine. Beautiful. Energy of the divine masculine. Action required here. Action required. Advice. Lesson. Wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, the bottom of the deck here for the Energy Oracle was the Temple Path. And I love the Temple Path because the Temple Path is that place of sacredness within inside your own being. Okay, it is the place where you find the peace deep inside your soul. That's what the Temple Path is talking about. And behind the Temple Path actually was a woman holding a coin in reverse, the sun in reverse. And then a thinking woman here, because this is really to me showing the Temple Path is talking about that place inside you. And there's this need for this place of peace within inside you. Because as a Libra here, it's almost as though the divine feminine within our being has really struggled to know her worth, struggled to see the abundance and the wonderful being that she was, the worthy being here that she was, and that is why the Temple Path is so strong here. It's as though as Libras that this energy of overcoming that lack of self-worth has really changed here, Within this Temple Path, there has been that healing for that, the thinking woman, the overcoming, right? She was so intuitive. She took all of the new information that was coming and she continued to grow. She continued to open herself up and continued to kind of educate herself along the steps so that she could overcome that lack of self-worth, that lack of self-worthiness. All right, so the current state of energy here was the 7th chakra, indecision in reverse, and the strategy. And the 7th chakra is talking about our crown chakra. It's talking about our divinity. I would just put her away, please. Okay, make sure the gate gets closed so not everyone's out. Okay, thank you. The the seventh chakra is talking about our temple path. It's talking about it is talking about our temple path because it's talking about our connection to the divine. When we use our crown chakra here, when we connect to our crown chakra, that is where we find this place of temple path. That's where we find the place within inside of our being to find the place of peace, to find the place of self-awareness, and to be able to go forward as the being who we consciously want to become, right? So this current state here is talking about that connection to the divine. It's talking about that connection to the higher source. With the indecision in reverse and strategy following, as a current state, this is saying there's no more uncertainty about how you want to go forward in your life and the connection to the divine that you want to go forward in your life with. It's almost as though there is just that click on where, the connection to the divine is like shining bright, and it's giving you that, it's giving you the ability to connect to where it is that you want to go in your life. With the strategy card, the strategy card is about journaling. It's about setting the intentions that you want to, have come into your life. You know what I'm talking about there? The Three of Pentacles. That's the collaboration, actually. The Three of Pentacles to me is the collaboration to working together. It's the understanding of needing, of doing the work for yourself, right? Of doing the work within your own being, so that work that you put in for yourself can go forward and manifest and grow and be work that you can share with others, And when we're talking about spirituality, when we're talking about that seventh kind of chakra and that divinity, to me, that is the work that you have put into who you want to be. You have put in the work to show up to the person that you want to be. And because you have taken the time to show up to yourself differently, it reflects differently in the life around you. People acknowledge that. The person and the energies that you have coming up from this ripple and reflect into other people's lives. It becomes a celebration. The Two of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles here. For some of you, this can be talking about a love relationship. For some of you, this can be talking about that connection to the divine, right? And how it's a slow moving kind of process. Look here. This doesn't have to be, two humanly energies coming together. This can be your energy and the divine's energy. And when we embrace the divine and allow ourselves to actually blend our lives with the divine, with a higher in our lives, we are able to actually fill more cups, okay? This can also be talking about, for some, for sure, this can be talking about that connection to the divine as well as this, as an earthly connection here, and that the journey could be slow right now. The journey to this Two of Cups could be slow, but it's within this divinity. It's within this connection to the divine here, and the clarity in the way that you are going forward to the life that you want to live. That's the Knight of Pentacles. That's why he shows up and he is slow and steady, and he puts in the steps. Okay. This connection here, this is a connection that you work on. It's a connection that you must continue to show up to work on here. Okay, it's not a fast moving process, but it's one that you must look. It could be a tough moving process, this whole phase, moving into this, this combining energy here. This sharing of the good energy, the Knight of Pentacles, and then the Six of Swords. It could be a tough passageway for sure. But the Six of Swords is all about moving through the tough passageway and having faith that the higher is moving you through the passageway. Okay? As a current state, that it's that connection to the divine that moves you through this current pathway, guys. As a shadow energy here, it was the happy family in reverse, And I can understand that, because the happy family, if we are feeling, whether that is your immediate family, a spouse and your children, or its parents, or whatever that looks like, there is some sort of kind of unrest here with the happy family, and oftentimes, like, that's a soft one. That's a hard one to trigger. Look at here, the Ten of Wands and the Moon. The shadow energy to me is very much, there has been a lot of tough cycles to get through, and whether that is, in some sort of, marriage and family cycle. And it's just, there's been some things going on. And I mean, 2020 has been, if you've got kids that, are now home and everybody's lives have kind of just been put on pause this year, there is that kind of misjumbling within this, right? And if we aren't being true to ourselves and we aren't showing up in our everyday space as somebody who is working on themselves and moving themselves forward. It's tough for us to acknowledge this family energy has a place to change and that the patterns don't have to continue to repeat here. That's the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is that acknowledgement that, you know what, shit has been really tough. And the cycles that we have learned, we're now moving away from, okay? And the moon is talking about the surrendering to the divine. The moon is having faith in the divine and knowing that just because you can't really see right now how it's all going to work out, you must trust and you must still open yourself up to move through this cycle, even in the dark. Have faith that Spirit is walking beside you as you show up and put one foot in front of the other every day. Spirit is walking beside you as you finish out and heal and complete these cycles here, you know, of in regards to this happy family, right? As you heal what needs to be healed here, as you finish out the cycles and you take the time to really acknowledge and work on and, you know, have conversations about, okay, this is how I'm feeling here. These are the things that I need to change, right? But having the faith in it that no matter what comes from this is what is meant for you, is what is here to help you grow, okay? Yes, sometimes it is really hard to walk away from people, from thoughts, from, you know, repeating negative kind of habits or energies. That can be a tough cycle to complete. Sometimes it's hard for us to put down our ego so that we can embrace things on a different level, but it's something we must do, okay? We cannot continue to go back to our old, you know, we can't continue to go back to our old habits and our old ways of thinking if we are wanting to go forward. We have to acknowledge that, wait a minute, stop. That's an old past habit. That's an old past trigger. Okay, that's my ego talking. That's my past ego talking. That is not the way I'm going forward here, okay? It's that acknowledgement. That's why the Ten of Wands is there, because it's that completion. It's the acknowledgement that, wait, this stops here. These cycles are ending. You know, I've put in the work and I acknowledge them for what they are, and now I'm actually going to move forward with a different kind of thing here, a different kind of energy. So the light to combat this shadow energy was the adjacent possibilities, and look at all the doors before you. You know, and sometimes we get so focused on thinking, okay, well, this is the only doorway that we can go through. And really, you know, if we just open ourselves up and allow Spirit to actually, like, you know, put into work what is meant to be, you know, if we just allow ourselves to trust in our intuition and to follow the path, you know, that our intuition is saying, come this way, do it like this, follow this. You know, if we can give ourselves that temple path place, then you are able to hear the direction that the divine is calling you. The doorways that are calling you, you know, the doorways that are saying, hey, come this way. Adjacent possibilities here was the Page of Wands, because there's a new doorway for you here. You know, again, as you embrace this new person, as you embrace the new you, you know, you acknowledge the patterns of the old and you are embracing the new you, the new spiritual being of you, you know, the evolution and revolutionized version of you to go forward. You know, you will find the doors. It'll be much more, when you're authentic to yourself, it's much easier to be able to acknowledge which door to go through. And the Two of Pentacles after that. And look at how these two play together, because the Page of Wands is about embracing your new spiritual being, okay? And the Two of Pentacles is the flexibility. It's the ability to balance not only your spiritual life, but your worldly life, you know, your fire life and your water life, right? Your inner knowing and your inner guidance to the actions that you're actually taking in life around you. The Two of Pentacles is the flexibility. You know, and we must be able to open ourselves up and not only allow our action to guide us, but allow our intuition to guide us. You know, it's that blending of both forces. We must go forward with not only our divine feminine side, but our divine masculine, because within us all is both, right? And that is how, as a whole being, we go forward, when we take our intuition and we take our fire and we go forward with them. Okay. So the divine feminine energy within this, and this is not talking about you as a female, the divine feminine energy within you is talking about the inner knowing, okay? It's about your inner understanding and your inner guidance, and that's the divine feminine within inside of us. And the divine feminine within inside of us is the angel of strength, because inside of our beings, we know how strong we are. You know, we have, I really feel that, you know, Libras has very much put in a lot of work. You know, in 2020, there has been so much soul growth as far as the Libras go. And Libras are they are a masculine sign of the zodiac, but they are somebody who is very balanced. So they understand the need, you know, and I think that's why Libras do I think that's why Libras have found this year to be such a giant growth year for them spiritually, because there is the balance for need for action and for the water essence in our lives, for the spiritual understanding in our lives, right? And the divine feminine here with that inner strength is saying, yes, you know, we've embraced this. We've embraced our inner strength. We've embraced the strength within inside of us, and acknowledge that it's not a loud strength. It's a strength of, yeah, look at this, the Empress. Okay. We've acknowledged that we are our own being. We've embraced ourselves. This whole like angel of strength inside is the acknowledgement here that we are the Empress, that what we are true to ourselves, when we are true to ourselves, the things that we want to co-create and manifest in our lives are within our reach. We have the ability to do so. The divine feminine and the Empress. And the Empress is very much, you know, in the tarot deck is very much a divine feminine, you know, for the tarot deck. So it's kind of crazy that the divine feminine here was this angel of strength and the Empress, because I love how those two reflect together as this divine energy here. And the energy of the masculine, the divine masculine, the energy of our action side, okay, of the things that we show, the side of us that we show up to, you know, to put in the actions and the steps here. And that energy was the storm warning and the world. And I really find that this energy here, our masculine energy, is this acknowledgement. It's the acknowledgement and the change, the bringing down, okay, the actual action put in here to tear down these pillars, any ideas, any thoughts, any patterns in our lives that aren't working. This acknowledgement here, this divine masculine acknowledgement here, is the need to tear down the old. The need to look at it, step back, look at it and be like, okay, you know what? That is not how, those past habits are not positive here. You know, the world behind it is that evaluation of the whole thing. Acknowledging the parts that is taken to get you to where you are, and then being able to look at the certain aspects of it and say, you know what, that pillar there, it's broken. You know, it needs to crumble. That pillar there, it's broken. It needs to crumble. They need to be torn down so that I can build new, so that I can build a new foundation here, something that is solid, something that understands, you know, the whole kind of cycles of where I've come from to where I am now. And the need here that, you know, the world is like, you know, that the world is like the completion, right? It's the completion to the cycles. It's the acknowledgement of the whole, of the whole. The Ace of Wands. See, it's this brand new idea. It's this brand new spark. It's this brand new passionate flame that kind of just starts burning within inside you, you know, and the acknowledgement that what needs to come down just needs to come down. When you can look back and see with clarity of all of the parts that it took to play, you know, to get you to where you are. This is where the passion comes from. This is where the clarity and the fire comes from, you know, so that you can go on and move yourself, take the actions to move yourself into this next beginning, this next fiery passion. Yep, the Nine of Swords. Okay, it's moving away from this. This Ace of Swords is the idea here. It's the passion and the spark and the flame that moves you past the place of feeling, you know, despaired, past the place of being up late at night, past the place of being anxious and, you know, and worrying about what's to come, you know. It's the acknowledgement that, no, I'm actually liberating myself from the things that need to come down. I can see this as a whole. I can acknowledge that those parts that had to come down needed to happen, because that is what, you know, it was a part of it. You know, it was a major part of it. Those crumblings had to happen here. It's that spark. It's the idea. It's the acknowledgement that, wait, this all needed to happen to put me in this place so that I could therefore take that journey of authenticity and embrace my own spirituality. Okay. All right, so the anxiety was the action required here, which is kind of curious. But this is the worry. You know, this is the worry that we have. And it's still kind of this fear, right? It's the lingering kind of anxious fear that we have to the unknown. Look at that. Oh, wow. The Chariot, the Three of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. You know, this anxiety is the acknowledgement that we have the ability here to change our direction. You know, to move ourselves from this place of just sitting here and pondering over all the things that we cannot change. to opening ourselves up and being like, wait, we can change this direction. We are the only ones who have the power to take the reins here and steer our chariot in the direction that we want to go. No one else has the ability to steer our chariot, because no one else has the ability to listen to our intuition, to take the reins and know how to drive that chariot. Those are our horses, okay? They drive our chariot. Only we have the power to drive and steer our chariot in the direction we want to go, the Three of Wands. Okay, into this new awakening, this new place of being like, oh, I'm going forward here. I'm taking this leap of faith into my spiritual journey, And then the Queen of Cups behind it, like, look at her. High priestess, but like, holy smokes, like, she's just so solid. She's literally shooting water from her hands, and look at her sitting in the depths there. She's sitting in the water because she's filled, This is this anxiety. We are the only ones in our world who have the ability here to take the reins of our chariot and steer them in the direction that we want to go, so that we can embrace the Queen of Cups, so we can embrace our inner peace, our inner strength. The advice here, the healer of the ages. Our advice here, and even if you are not a spiritual person, the advice here is to keep digging. The advice here is to actually be able to look at the healer of the ages from more than a religious limit. Okay? You do not need to agree with the religion of Christianity to believe in the Lord, or to even believe in his son, And I feel this healer of ages to me is the divine, no matter what that is to you. But this card to me, I'm like, oh, hello, Lord, right? The advice here is to really look into the spirituality and to understand that you can have a higher without having to fit into the religious limits put in by mankind. Okay? The religious, almost the religious ego or the ego of religion, right? You can still connect to a divine without having to put yourselves in the limitations of a religion. That's what spirituality is about. Okay, it's connecting to a divine, whether, and acknowledging what that is. And I come from a Christian background, but even when I look at the religion of Christianity, there are parts of it that I can't get on board with, I can't. Because to me, the Lord is somebody who is much greater than anybody, to me, the Lord is much greater than the limiting beliefs that Christianity has allowed, non-believers to believe for forever, To me, the Lord is like, okay, you can try to fit me into your box of religion, but I don't fit there. I'm beyond that. I'm greater than that. I should pull tarot here instead of preaching my preach. Healer of ages. This advice, yeah. Look at that. It's the change of perspective, the change of perspective. It's this change of how you see this healer of ages, It's the acknowledgement here that the way maybe you have been seeing that healer of ages, the way you have acknowledged the Lord in your life, there is a different way to look at this, He doesn't fit into the box of religion, my friends. He cannot fit into an earthly made outline. He is beyond that, okay? He's beyond all of that. Open yourself up to see it from a different kind of change here. Okay? Yeah, Ten of Swords. Look at that. Walk away from the ideas that you've had, maybe the hostile ideas, the ideas of hurt and harm and the limitations that you have put on the higher. Because again, he does not fit into that box. He's bigger than that. He is. Look at that. Celebration. When you can change your perspective and walk away from the limiting ideas that you have, or that society, or that, someone in your past has put on you about this limiting belief of the Lord. When you can acknowledge that and be like, wait, there's still a space for me here, Just because I don't fit in the religion box doesn't mean that I don't have the ability to connect with the Lord. Doesn't mean that his son did not die for me just the same, There's the celebration here. There's the joy. There's the understanding, okay? And look at this. The lesson here was the door to value. The lesson of, this next 2 weeks and all of these, shadow energies or where this even fits into your life here is this door to value. And what does that door to value look like? Is it a hollow door to value that just has, coins and the materialistic things of life blooming out of them? Or is it a different kind of perspective? Have you opened yourself up to allow yourself to appreciate things beyond the materialistic world? Door to value here. The Eight of Swords and the Five of Cups. Look at that. The Eight of Swords was the feeling trapped, and the Five of Cups was the suffering. Okay, it was the heartache. It was the hurtfulness that came with this, the pain, the emotional pain that came with this. The trapping here, the Eight of Swords is this, it's this illusion. It's this, the trapping ideas, the limiting ideas that make you believe that you are stuck in this place, unable to actually free yourself, unable to actually open your eyes and see clearly. And the crows in here are removing the strings. Spirit here is removing the strings so you can see clearly, can understand that this reflection in the mirror is not you. You are beyond the mirror. Okay? The Five of Cups is the acknowledgement that yes, there has been a lot of pains, but we must release those pains. We cannot carry the suffering or the suffering or the sorrow of those pains further in our lives. Cups that have been spilt, sometimes we just have to acknowledge that they have been spilt. And that's a hard lesson to acknowledge. I acknowledge that. Okay? I mean, it sounds easy in a reading like this, but to actually go forward and be like, you know what, I have to let this pain go. That's next level, But look, behind her sits a cup that is still full for her, right? That is still full of magic for her. This door to value is embracing the newness. Yep, look at that. The Fool and the Ace of Swords. Holy shit. This door to value is this change. It's the acknowledgement, that you do not have to be trapped. You do not have to be trapped by your hurt feelings. You do not have to be trapped by the suffering and the pains of your life. You have the ability here to free yourself from that, okay? To step forward as the Fool, to go forward with the new idea. Spirit here is flooding you with ideas, okay? The Ace of Swords is those aha moments. It's those downloads. It's almost as though Spirit is just opening up your brain and allowing all this light energy to go in so that you can start anew, so that you can open yourself up and go forward here as anew. And that is amazing. That's so cool. There's a change here, Libras. There's the ability here to change. You might not see it. It might be still in the dark here for you, It might be still in the shadows, but there is a cup here, an Ace of Cups, that is for you. That is, yeah, look at that. Seven of Swords, the Ace of Cups, the Sun, and the Hierophant. You might not see how it all works out yet, but this Ace of Cups is for you. It's your fulfillment. And the fulfillment is to come to the higher. The fulfillment is to connect to the divine. It is. It's to have a solid connection to the divine and to understand that it doesn't need to fit within a religious box. Okay? It doesn't. Your connection to the Lord is your connection to the Lord. This temple path is not a temple path for you and a congregation of people. No, there's a need here to actually connect, yes, with a soul tribe. I get that. But this temple path is just you and the Lord. This is your place, right? All right, one last oracle card. What are we going to do today? Oh, the animal spirit. Animal spirit for the Libras. Oh, wow, that was quite a few. Look at that. Be loyal to what you love, the dog spirit. Show up to love yourself like a good dog would, right? Show up to love yourself. Be loyal to what you love. Dream the world into being, Take the time to daydream. Open yourself up to the ways of creative thinking. Set healthy boundaries. That's a very important one here. Set healthy boundaries, okay? Do not let people push you and cross your boundaries. You need to set solid, firm, healthy boundaries here. And White Raven, trust in the magic. White Raven is to have the faith here, to have the faith that the Lord is guiding you in this. Look at this, and lay a solid foundation, the beaver. And the beaver lays a solid foundation. The beaver is one who actually can change the course of the river. They get all the sticks, they gather all the branches, and they work hard. They lay solid foundations. And within that, they change the course of the rivers of their lives. Okay? You have the ability here, guys, to change the course of the river of your life. So do it. Embrace it. Okay, Libras, that was a beautiful read. I am so excited for the next couple weeks. If you enjoyed this video, I please encourage you to like, subscribe, add a comment. I love to hear comments. And I think that is it. Again, check out that Embrace Your Awakening series if you have not yet. And until next time, Libras, take great care of yourselves. Bye now.